These grad shows are getting longer. We got a lot of people coming in. So hopefully I'll be able to continue this for a while until it just gets overwhelming. You know, I might get so old too, my eyes start giving out, can't do this anymore. We'll see. For the most part though, it's usually pretty enjoyable. We have a Dojo Talks coming out. We did yesterday with Hammer about should beginner level players study the openings, and great debate. And what occurred to me, right as we were beginning, is I was like, wait a second. Like, Hammer doesn't know. Hammer doesn't know. That guy, he's doing fancy commentary about Super GM games all the time. But me, buddy, I'm doing this every day. So I have a privileged perspective. Now, he's got privileged perspectives on other things, but in terms of like people's progress, especially like up to the 1,000 cohort, oh buddy. That's what I'm saying, Matt Chess. But Kostya and David, they're good at talking. Matt Chess is saying they need to do this grad show sometimes too. They talk a big game. They're like, oh yeah, we're ready to do it. We're ready to do it, boss, whenever you want. And I'm like, tell me a time when you want to do it. It'd be great if you guys did it. No, I never do it, dude. Yeah, so we're not going to hold our breath over there. But it is important also, I think it gives them a chance, just like I was saying with the Hammer, like to see a lot of things with the program. What does a game in the 900, 1,000 cohort look like? What are the typical mistakes? How is that different from the 1,000 to 1,100 cohort, for example? Okay, enough said. Let's get into it. Oh, dude, it's massive. Am I ever going to finish this thing? Probably not, dude. In fact, let's do this. Let's start from the bottom, or rather, excuse me. It's the bottom of my page, but it's the top. And so I like to do it that way sometimes because a lot of times I get to the higher rated players and I'm just so exhausted or I don't have any time left. So let's start here. Cam Leslie said, I'm not the best at tracking all of my chess activities, but I've been sticking to 99% dojo tasks, analysis, tactics, calculation, and the Polgar mates. I believe my recent increases after being stuck in the low 2000s for 10 years is directly related to less opening study and more sweat work. No, that's great. We are going to actually have Agard on tomorrow on the Dojo Talks. And our talks, they take a couple days to get out. We're having actually grief getting things edited and stuff, but they do come out pretty quickly on our Patreon if you want to check it out. Anyways, I'll briefly get into it. Agard, for a variety of reasons, is committed to the idea that the FIDE world champions in the 90s, who most chess fans can't name, so Pano, Khalifman, these kinds of guys, are actual world champions. And here at the dojo, we disagree. And so we're going to have a little bit of a historical debate on our talks tomorrow about it. And he does have some interesting ideas, interesting perspectives. So it will be probably some kind of debate, kind of like we had with Hammer too, about the openings. But anyways, it'll be interesting. Here we go. Cam Leslie, Chess Dad trying to get it together. And can Neil Bruce make master? Has galvanized me toward improvement. I'm on a quest now. I would say that was the episode that pissed people off the most. It pissed Neil off because I said he wasn't going to make it. And Bruce too is like, no, there's no chance. And so people were like, you're being mean-spirited, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, no, we're just trying to be realistic about it, Bose. And, man. Okay, so here we go. We have Cam Leslie, who has started out at a USCF of 2052, made it to 2109. And by the way, that's that kind of progress of making 50-point gain, fantastic. 100-point gain, amazing. And you are rated, frankly, just higher than Neil Bruce. So you have a much bigger chance of making. I think Neil's more like 1800, if I remember correctly. So yeah, going from 2052 to 2200, that I just want to stress, a lot of people will say that's only 150 points. It's easy. No, it's not easy. Is it doable? That is doable. Okay, 150 points. That is doable. I want to stress, though, it is very difficult. Very difficult. Yeah, and what's cool, too, is you would hit another graduation before you hit that because you just need 2185. Okay, so we got this going on here. Looks like a lot of tactics. Let's go look at the activity. Great. Looks like we're doing a lot of games, a lot of tactics. Let's click on the tactics. We got some mate in twos. Okay, good. And the woodpecker method. Fantastic. And this calculation book. Now, I believe, I don't know, Kostya got real upset. Normally, we don't change anything in terms of requirements until, the dojo, like it's a 3.0 or 4.0, but he was like, that calculation book is too hard. And I think it was in the 1900 cohort, and he was like, dude, we have to move it. We have to move it. So that was kind of a unilateral decision. I was like, Bows, can't we wait until 4.0? And he's like, no, it's got to go now. No, he made me mad. Like, you're breaking protocol, Kostya. All right, too much inside gossip here. Deltush asked, why isn't ChessCom working? Well, it's good to know that it wasn't just me. I logged on. I was like, I get my one little blitz game. I get to play one blitz game. All right. So this is, now what I want to say is, we go back to this activity, because it seemed like you were doing a lot of games and analysis. So you just, you're not annotating that much. So we'll say right away that you annotating the games is very critical to making this 2200 thing. Very critical. Okay, let's get into this one. City Championship. Great. We're playing one of these 1900 players. All analysis done without the engine. Great. All right. Do we have a time graph? We do. Let's go take a look. So, when you see a higher rated game like this, you will see somebody making it out, to like move 7 or 8, and then they start thinking. And you can see also in contrast to our stream yesterday with the under 1000 that these people know, like that this is a complicated position that happened here. And if anything, they thought too long. You can see it's a lot of times the inverse with higher rated players. The inverse problem being sometimes they take too long. Scold the Kobold asks, what site is this? This is the ChessDojo Training Program. If you Google chessdojo.club, you will find it. All right, so let's continue. So game review. And let's get into it. So far, so good. Fine. Fine. Well, this is funny because yesterday we had on the Under 1000 show, we had somebody playing black and they didn't even know this was called the Berlin. They were just making principled moves. And their opponent also played knight takes e5. They also played knight takes e5. Okay, let's read what you write. DE5 is the most played in the database because white wants the kingside majority provided by DE5. Black scores extremely well from this position because capturing this way doesn't provide the majority, and it just becomes black's weakened pawn structure offset by the bishop pair. In the long run, the bishops will matter more. Okay, I like that. Now, it's interesting. Do we really think white's worse? Maybe. Maybe. Okay. bishop e7 and knight c3 doesn't seem right to me. Because at some point, aren't you going to play knight f5? All right. Castles, rook e1, and now rook e8. And let's read what you write. After rook e8. This is a lazy move from me. The idea is to tuck the bishop at f8, open up the rook, and try to evict the white knight. It's not bad, but if I had the position again, I would play knight f5. Knight f5. Good, and you give some variations. Now, I thought the only, I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe d5. But in any case, if he plays bishop e3, he's strategically hosed. And it's not just actually the pawn, of course. We need to open this guy up. And, someday we might play c5 or something, Okay. So here we go, rook e1. But white's moves, by the way, this looks very superficial because now, he can't use the c-pawn. Rook e8. So that's the first move you've made, which is a little bit controversial. Though arguably you're still better because the guy doesn't have a plan here. And queen h5 certainly isn't it. I knew that Michael would play this move now because we have played a lot of games against each other. All right, bishop f8. Yeah, I can't believe in queen h5. Well, I think he should try developing his coconuts, man. Maybe he should try developing. All right, bishop f8. Knight e4, that isn't it. So notice, in a lot of ways, our knight on d6 actually wants to get out of dodge, and this is just helping us do it. f6, that's a spicy move. Okay. Now, what I don't understand is why aren't we just playing g6? Simple idea. You have it here. Simple. Queen f3, bishop f5. You're doing great. Yeah, you're doing great. Morning Yakstavi. Yeah, give GM Stream Deck a break. That's right, buddy. That's right. Okay. So f6 looks, at the bare minimum, it's just like feels like you're risking things to me. Okay, but fair enough. If it wins, it wins. You always got to say that. If it wins, it wins. Holy moly. Knight e4 surprised me, but this move blew my mind. It's probably objectively dubious, but I am marking it interesting because if white does nothing, black will slowly take over the initiative. All right, so the big question was, knight takes d6, and then we're saying cd6, queen f7, and one question I have is, did you miss that in the game? Because otherwise I'm not playing f6, dude. I don't want to play f6 if that's the kind of souse that's meeting the bows. Notice too, on this bishop g5, he thinks 23 minutes. It's actually a good example of somebody who rabbit-holed it too long, this bishop g5 move, right? It's just like you've lost your mind. Because he's not thinking of anything special like that. Come on. So knight d6. Let's see what you wanted to do here. It's not totally clear to me. CD doesn't want to do it. So this was the resource I was planning on in case of knight d6. All I know is I'm scared. That's all I know. I only know that I'm scared. So you say knight df7. This is critical because any knight move. Okay. So wait a sec, though. Here, we go here. Oh, you did a whole thing. Analysis here, bro. Yeah. fe5. And now you look at bishop g5. And then what's your next move? Bishop d7, right? By the way, that's a great analysis, dude. Great analysis. Now, one of the things we should say is that this, I mean, it looks like black is going to be better, right? But am I right in thinking that if the guy just wants to be a chump, he goes, so knight d6, g6, queen d1. Oh, you have queen d1, I think. No, you don't have queen d1. And then they would go, you got to take it somehow. I don't know, let's say this one. And then this one. And position's unclear, right? Yeah, position's unclear because you're a little loose. The goose is a little loose, as they say. Yeah. Hammer basically didn't disagree about studying the openings, honestly. We had actually a surprising amount of agreement. Okay, so here we go. Bishop g5, totally bizarre. Totally bizarre move, bro. Wow. Wow. Okay. So the problem is you got several moves here that just, well, look like they win kind of sort of on the spot. What did you do? Knight e4. And you talk about bishop e6. After analysis, the whole key is to get the bishop off of c8. Okay, I just got a dumb question. What happens on rook e5? And then what's going on? Right, because fe5, then I take here. Maybe rook ad1, dude? Maybe, maybe. Holy crapatolas, I don't know. That's pretty stunning, actually. Yeah, and the wild thing is it's not even over. Because we go queen e7, pawn takes, knight takes. Holy catoles. This one's too hot for me. That's too scary. I can't deal, as the kids like to say. I can't deal. Okay, so this is, I guess, what this guy's thinking about forever. It doesn't even threaten anything, this bishop g5, man. It doesn't even threaten anything. Okay, so yes, you had bishop e6 and you had knight e4. Now, the good news is you tanked here, and this is definitely correct. So him tanking on bishop g5, forget about it. There's so many different moves that you could do here. Yeah, so many different moves. It's just like he's forking himself, dude. Okay, so you snipped, and then that's his idea. And he's saying he's going to mate you. But now bishop f5, and it looks like he's mostly lost. So, okay, bishop f5, rook f4, snip. This was the move I was counting on. Boom, boom. I mean, it looks good. Dang! Is it really, though? No, it's just lost. Honestly, here I thought I was losing, but with sober reflection, I believe black is significantly better. Yeah, I think black is winning. One thing, just from experience here, is the two bishops, we got two bishops and a rook versus two rooks. It's too much. Because the bishops, they just dominate the rook. And those pawns, white's pawns are a long way from doing anything. You're going to find the 7th rank here. So I would call this lost. E1, that can't be bad unless it's something, I don't know. Rook c4. Okay, you got several good moves here. c5 looks good. Okay. Okay. Wow, that wasn't it. Okay, and you talk about h5 here. Let me just see if I can... I'm not sure about king f7. That's the move that I feel like you're kind of... I'm not sure about it. So, for example, if I go c5, I'm threatening b5, right? Also, what are we talking about here? I can play rook takes c2. I can play bishop takes c2. I'm crushing this fool. I'm crushing the fool. And I can play c5 and then b5 first, too. So king f7, I don't get it. h3, and then you talk about h5. And then here you want him to play rook ce4. And you talk about bishop d5. But why don't we steal a coconut? Let's steal a coconut. I get it. You're afraid of f5. But is he really doing anything to you here? No, right? First of all, is it a little scary? Sure, it's a little scary. But as long as he doesn't do anything, you know? We're winning this bad boy. Okay, so f5, he blows it. Thank you very much. Check to the miserable king, and that's it, folks. That's it. Okay, good game, and congratulations. We're going to be watching Cam Leslie. It's a very cool quest to try to make 2200 USCF. We call that a master. We call this 2000 to 2200 an expert. So really cool. Congratulations. All right, next up we have somebody, looks like they just got to the program, maybe clicked the grad button. Let's just see. They've done a couple things. We'll give them a follow. 1370. Wait a second. So how come it says 1700, 1800, and he's in the 1370 over here? I don't got a comprende on this one. I don't know. Okay, just got here though. I think a lot of times people, when they get to the dojo, have a little bit of hard time adjusting to the cohorts and figuring that out. All right, let's move on to Filipov. Happy to graduate, but I'm in an odd position. The Canadian Chess Federation just did a rating adjustment as a follow-on to the one by FIDE earlier this year. This gave me a 46-point boost, putting me into the next cohort. I've only returned to study recently and not have time to play a long game, so nothing annotated for Jesse yet. So far, I'm impressed by the program. In particular, there's a lot of material to cover than I expected, and that was perhaps a necessary insight. Okay, great, Mr. Filipov. Let's go have a look. You can see dude's doing a bunch of stuff. There he is, Canadian. Made it up into 1800. So super cool. Played late 50s. Played in my first rated tournament 41 years ago. Possibly before Jesse. Right around the same time, actually. I was a late bloomer. I had my first tournament. I was like 11 or 12 or something like that. I wasn't a late bloomer. I just didn't have the opportunity. Didn't have the opportunity to start. So he's done some checkmate tests. Has kind of blundered on those. We want that to be higher. And let's see. Just have a click here. What's the non-dojo? Oh, he's doing some blitz and rapid tactics and stuff. Okay. And he's done a bunch, some endgame, some tactics. What are we doing? He's done the checkmate test. Fine. I would definitely think that doing the Polgar mates would be a great step, because then you're going to be ready for those checkmate tests, and that will help not just your mates, but your visualization, especially for us old guys. Very necessary. Okay, let me just get this going here. Just make sure no one's yelling at me or stuff. How come? There it is. Necessary. Bang. All right. So, make sure I got boom, 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 boom. Okay, good. Good. I just had to check in with some Dojo Biznats. Dojo Biznats. Okay, so let's carrying on. Filipov, we'll hopefully see you soon again. Yeah, I hope you can make it. Next up, we have Matt Chess, dude. Oh, buddy. Let's go give a look at Matt Chess here. A new year, a new cohort. Or as Metallica says, another day, another death, another sorrow. Okay, Kraai, don't get distracted. I have made great progress this year thanks to the dojo. Can't say enough good things about the many members who motivate and share their knowledge, the many classical tournaments, my coaching with no's, and enthusiastic training partners. Thanks to F. Rada, who nudged me to finally pull the trigger and press the graduate button, since I always seem to have an as soon as I do X excuse for holding off. Okay, great. So let's go give a look to Matt Chess. 55 years young. Oh, this is an old dude. I get to call people old. I can call people, dude, when they're like 25. I call them young pups. Practically children. Hopefully qualify at some point for the U.S. Correspondence Championship. In practical games, I need to improve my tactics, positional play, endgames. So much work. Be more focused and finish courses and tasks before taking on new ones. In the past, I tended to bounce around a lot. Okay, great. Now let's go take a look at this amazing heat map because let's just say, dude started in March and it's looking pretty good, man. Look at that thing. That's amazing. In fact, I got to make this heat map is actually so big, it's not fully getting all of it on there. I need to adjust the heat map thing, actually. How do I do this? Let's make this, I got to make it smaller and then expand to Mundo. See, there we go. Yeah, that's a heat map, my friend. That's a heat map. And see, graduation. Isn't that cool? We added the graduation buttons, my friends. Graduation right here. Matt Chess is just flying. Totally flying over here. Okay, so let's go back. Where do we go? Grad show. I go over here. Oh, it's burning me. Get it out. And first, I want to see what all this non-dojo stuff is about. He's doing everything, man. Engine sparring, guess the move. He's doing holy moly is what he's doing over there. Holy moly. Okay. Now, in general, I think, of course, at the dojo, we don't want you to bounce around. We want you to stay focused on the tasks. And there's a lot of tough ones that you have in this, beautiful ones too, in this cohort. So my goal for you, 2025, is a little bit less white here. A little bit less white, but the same consistency. Because that's great, man. Let's see what, like tactics, maybe, I would say those two things are a little bit short, in terms of a macro diet. Right? Okay, this is looking cool. This is looking great. But we want more, in terms of a macro diet, we want these two to be significantly larger than this white one. Okay, good. Let's go look at this ratings thing here. So he's using the Lee Chess Classical. I think, knew I was going to say this anyway. But the Lee Chess, you start getting up there a little bit. And it gets weirder and weirder. So thinking about moving on to an OTB situation is what you should be thinking of. And I get it. You're USCF, you're underrated. Here, you're pretty high. But I think eventually you're going to need to do it. Right? Eventually you're going to need to do it. Okay, clubs. Online arena. I didn't even know about that. I'm in the 50 plus. This square off board, that sounds cool. The core dojoers, yeah, great. Nose knows all crew. I didn't even know that was on. That was there. Okay, great. All right, let's see if we get a game. And he says his game with Rashid Cosmos is something we are going to, he's going to raise my blood pressure, he says. All right, so here we go. Pop. Let's see if we got a time graph. Uh-oh. Well, now, Matt is definitely doing right, but he's just playing one of these chumps who are basically playing a blitz game. This is another call for you to play some longer games, right? Okay, so then we'll go game review. Yeah, this chump, this chump ain't doing it, huh? Okay, so here we go. Uh-oh, he's gonna play the Scandi. I'm not gonna say anything bad. And then that's a weird move. Okay, so here we go. Boom, that can't be wrong. And now bishop f5. So it's kind of like it's so bizarre. It's such a terrible move, but it is a Budapest gambit, and you could call it a tempo up. But when you think about this position for black, is there any reason to play c5? Because that would be the Budapest gambit is d4, knight f6, c4, e5. But the c4 move in that position doesn't necessarily make sense. It's not the most important thing. So this just seems bad. Okay. So bishop f5 is the most ambitious. I think knight f6 has got to be fine. Knight c3. Boom. Thank you very much. f3. Oh my God. So I don't believe any of it. Let's take it. Thank you. I hope you said thank you. And now we played knight c6. Simple chess. Look at all those green arrows. And one of the bummer things about this for white is black's already so active. It's not like you've got some big compensation or something. So knight f7. Holy catoles! And now you find the amazing queen d4. Wow, this is fancy. Very fancy. And then knight d4 was played in his 2012 game, having just played knight d4. Knight d8, knight f3. I mean, I'd rather be black in this position, I guess. Yeah, I don't know why we wouldn't rather be black, but your move might actually be better. All right, here we go. Queen d4, very spicy. Do I fully get it? I'm still working on it. I'm still working on it. So he plays knight h8. All right, you talk about d3. Good annotations, by the way. King f7. Queen to snip. Queen snip. Holy cows. And you say this is clearly better for black. Well, it's got to be better, at the very least. Amazing. So d3. And then you also think is there another move? Yeah, you talk about bishop e3, but that doesn't make any sense, right? Because you could play even queen g4 here. Okay. And then bishop b3. And then you're going to give him that business. Amazing. Okay. So very high level game. And one of the cool things about this is that the minors, not those kinds of minors, but the minor pieces, are so much stronger at this early stage of the game than the rook. So truly a fascinating position. So d3, very natural move. Let's just see what happens here. queen h4, g3, queen h3. Now, also earlier, I'm like, why wouldn't you could just play queen g4 too, right? Maybe this is winning as well, but queen g4 also makes a lot of sense to me. You talked about queen d4, bishop e3. Okay. So I don't... Yeah, that to me just seems winning, because you're going to play bishop d6 and here if he trades the queens. Okay, so your move might also be winning. It just scares me more. Bishop e3, bishop g4. So Stockfish says something about bishop d6. It makes sense, but though this bishop g4 was your whole idea. Queen f2. Knight e5. Well, that's brutal. Yeah. I mean, knight e5, you're playing the human moves. The Stockfish stuff, I don't know. To me, it's just like you're crushing this guy. Look at this. Total domination, man. Total domination. Look at that. Covering the f7 square. Dang. You got several moves here. I like that one a lot, yeah. And now we'll just take the knight, dude. Thank you very much. Completely winning. So, you say it's only significantly better for you, but now I think your minors are just, your minor pieces, bows. They strong. 92, that isn't it. Bishop e2. Decided to simplify. Okay, so maybe slightly soft to take the knight. So maybe I'll just say the drama here for white is they would like to trade off all of the minor pieces because then the rooks might have a little bit of extra room. But you can see now that the white rooks in this position don't mean squat. And I love your light squares too. Okay, but here we go. Boom, boom, knight c6. I know I am up a material and have two pieces for rook, but my pieces feel discoordinated. I had some ideas that I might want to try to regroup, push e5, centralize my pieces to play knight d4. You talk about queen g4. I definitely think queen g4 is the easy way to play, you know? Like this position, yeah, that's just a winning position. That's a winning position. That's over, Grover, Snover. As long as the rooks can't penetrate, it's completely winning. All right, here we go. But knight c6, I still think you're winning. I don't know if that does anything. Good move. I don't know if that does anything. And now you play knight d5. So you were worried about e5 and then g4, I guess. That looks good. It's a little scary, I get it. Like here, you would want to talk about queen f7. Just make sure nothing terrible is happening to you. But there you have rook f8, right? Now, maybe this is just you being conservative with the clearly better. You know, just be like, yeah, I'll just say I'm better, you know. Yeah. All right, here we go. Bishop d2, e5. I like that. Rook f7. Boom. It should be too much. That's got to be strong. And now you play queen h5, followed by knight e2. Simple chess. Very good. And now he should resign. He does not. Okay. By the way, I like king b8 a little bit better instead of b6. Ooh, that's a nice one. That isn't it. That isn't it, buddy. Check to the miserable king. There, I think queen d5 looks a little stronger. I just want to make life simple. Your move's fine. Come on. They don't resign. They don't want to resign. They don't want to resign. Okay, great game. Playing, let's just look back and we'll say, you're not going to be able to pose someone problems, creative problems, if you move so fast. So one of the things we expect is, you're going to have less games like this as you go up, especially if you play the dojo. Play that dojo. You play that 1800, 1900 round robin, buddy. Oh, buddy, that's going to be a tough call. Anyways, that was a good game, good annotation. And Matt Chess, you're doing it right, dude. You're doing it right. Let's go look actually real quick at the tournaments and go round robin. And we'll just see what it looks like for 1800, 1900. Oh, Matt Chess is there, bud. Look at that. They're about ready to start. They're just waiting for one more player to show up. And those, I don't think you're going to have people moving super fast there. At least that's my... Uh-oh. You got to fix that. Sorry about that. I don't think they're going to move super fast, I think that's going to be a really tough tournament. Then you'll have some postmortems afterwards and stuff. Yeah. So, really good. All right. Let's continue. We have Kiki VB. Maybe just joined the dojo. Let's check it out. Hasn't done much yet. Just joined the dojo. Clubs, nothing. Activity, just a touch. Games, probably nothing. So we're just going to say, welcome to the dojo, Kiki. All right. Next up is Ohm, who I remember. And Ohm says the. Well, okay. Let's go over here. And Ohm has kind of been out of it for a couple months here, as you can see. Yeah. So there's Ohm. ECF had some good progress here with 1704. Has done great on the tactics test. Needs to do some checkmate tests. Okay. Something happened in this phase of life over here that we don't know. Clubs. Agard and UK Dojo. Okay. And yeah, we don't know what happened. He did do a lot of work, though, in the score. Maybe he didn't log it. No, I don't know. He is doing a lot, though. Or has done a lot in the past to make... Actually, let's click it out here. Heat map. So yeah, you can see this is the heat map. It looks pretty good and everything. But he was absent for a while. All right. All right, games. We've got loads. And that's a little bit... No, that's not confusing. Let's do this one. Bang. See if we got a time graph. Holy la 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 la. My friends. So you're seeing, like, when even at the higher levels here, we're getting people. I'm convinced this has everything to do with people being online, and it's just so hard to concentrate online, and you just start making impulsive moves. I was listening to an interview I identified with recently where a dude said that he's never really had a great thought while being online. That just resonates with my experience, All right, here we go. So far, so good. Yep. Boom. Yeah, so bishop g5, it's a kind of a funny move because you're going to have to wonder what's going to happen to you if h6. Now, this doesn't seem right. Boom. Very good. That feels right. And now you castle. To me, the obvious question is g5, bishop g3, knight e4. And the bummer for white is, let's say you don't even defend your pawn. Now, let's just say for a second I don't want to take it. What's happening now? It looks frisky. It looks like a problem. So the grief with castling is I'm not sure in this position that you want to castle, right? d5, too much. And he says this gives up a pawn. And, you know, it's like, hey, Matt Jess. I think Matt Jess is in the dojo. Matt Jess, you got to learn to develop your coconuts, bows. So, boom. And even if, by the way, even if that pawn wasn't hanging, you just gave black this juicy square. Nice move. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. All right, and now it's basically over. Can we just remind Matt Jess why this happened? Matt Jess, let me turn you on to why this happened. You're not using your time, buddy. Hey, over here. Buddy, got to use that time, man. All right. So, considered a lot of moves here. You're crushing this fool. Fine. Fine. d5, good move. That wasn't it. There we go. Simple chess. Good move. Boom, simple chess. All right. King f8, good move. Rook d1. I would have played rook e7. But okay, rook, and then here. And then dude just totally loses his mind. Matt Jess, let me tell you why this happens. Because you're not thinking at all, buddy. Here we go, my friends. You don't think? Bam, bam. Dojo's going to get you. All right. So, congratulations. That's Ohm, the famous Ohm. And these graduations are not hard, not easy, my friends. It is. You start getting up there, it's the real deal. All right, Vikram. I don't know what's going on with Vikram. He's not saying a lot. And he might have just joined the dojo. But he's in the right cohort. Hasn't done anything. No clubs are. Oh, he's part of this ADHD and the heat map heroes. So maybe, he joined in October. The heat map heroes, man, that suggests somebody who's going to get on there. All right. Activity, just a touch. He did publish a new game analysis. All right. So let's take a look. Games. And here's this game. It's a 10-0 game. So one thing, Vikram, is we don't really count the 10-0s here, bud. We don't count them even for the lower cohorts, but especially you're playing, at the higher ones, you want to do it. You might have missed a maiden 5, maiden 14. Fine. I would like Mr. Chess Dojo or other community members to give this game a look, but it's not annotated. No, that's just some fun game you played as a 10-0, bud. Okay, so Vikram, we need games from you, bud. We need games from you, and they should be longer than that one. And you should annotate them. Okay, so here we go. Next up is a very famous dojo work, Claw 16. He is in the chat, so if he wants me to look at a particular game, we can do that. Claw says, sometimes in chess and life, something finally clicks, and it feels like your level jumps substantially. But looking at my heat map, I can see this jump is mostly a reflection of all the sweat work I have put in recently. Great. All right. So, Canadian living in SF, enjoying the mechanics. Mechanics in some ways, the heart of the dojo. Me and Pruess played on the mechanics team for years and stuff. Oh, beautiful. What a beautiful clubs. Okay, so USCF cruising up to 1683. Dude is playing a lot. They got great tournaments at the mechanics, even for Canadians. Even for Canadians. It hasn't played much of these other things, which is fine. Okay, so clubs. SF Bayer. Maybe we need it. Maybe Claw. If you know some other people at the mechanics, that would be cool to get a mechanics club going on. Okay. So, activity. And I want to do just what you did to get here. So, mostly games and analysis. And we'll click on the tactics here. Made in twos. Looks great. 1550. Yeah, fantastic. All right, Claude, this is looking great. So, Klaus says against Pickering is the one we're going to do. And then after this game, I'm going to get myself something to drink because my throat hurts. So, here we go. This looks like a OTB game. We do, however, congratulations. It's hard to do because you got to write down your times for this kind of OTB games. We do have the graph, and that is a very sensible looking graph. My friends, that's kind of the way it should look, right? That's kind of the way it should look. All right, great. And Carl Pickering plays B3. Fine. Oh my gosh. Now this is fun because I did a video a while back on this beautiful system. And yeah, it's vicious. So we let him take the pawn. Now you have to give me the bishop. And now you have to give me another tempo. Bishop G3. All right, here we go. H5. H3. Yeah, and he talks about H4. So H4, Bishop H2. And now he does think for 8 minutes here. And he gets hung up on Bishop F5, Knight F3, and then Queen G5. And I'm going to just look at that first because that's also my first question. And let's read what he writes. This was my first consideration. I spent a while looking at it, determined that was good, if complicated, but was feeling less good about King F1. Bishop F5 looks good. King F1, Bishop F5, Knight F3. At this point, I told myself I didn't think this line is working out for me, but I should have kept looking for threats. Yeah, you just go here. And then bam, very good. I would want to make an argument that black is like strategically winning here. I mean, it looks real nasty for white here. How does he ever solve his soul? How does he solve his soul here, man? You know? It looks really bad. Okay. So, all right. So you played D4, and I have a feeling you probably did that because in some of the other variations, that's what we see. It makes sense. You're going to make him pay to develop the knight on B1. Okay. Though Queen G5 to me just feels like a free tempo. Yeah. All right, Knight F3. Bishop D6. Snip, snop, and now dude takes it. And now you get real frisky and play Bishop F5. So, that's an amazing move. I think, if anything, that's the one you want to give yourself an exclam for. You know? Because you're setting up Queen G6. You're saying, I don't care if you play C3. I don't care. You can do that to your knight if you want to. That's a great move, man. Bishop F5, exclam. So, yeah. I don't know what he should do. You talk about castles. You talk about castles, Knight C3, and you just are even going to ignore him crudely with this. I like black a lot. I don't know, King H1 or something. And at a minimum, you take this thing. Maybe you got something better, but that just looks like a beauty of a position. Okay, great. So D3. Check to the miserable king. Yeah, let's read what you write. Interesting moment where the d file is more in play than it appears because of threats to c2. I totally agree. And also, knight h4, you should kind of distrust, right? So that's the reason you're not doing this, because you're like, oh, maybe he's going to take my coconut, you know. But if he takes your coconut, he has to leave your knight there. He has to leave the knight there. That's too much. That's too much. Okay, so that's a great note. Queen f4. Now just knight f4. By the way, I think you're getting a little fancy here, Baus. You didn't take it for a couple moves, and now you're just like getting fancy. Just take the pawn. It opens up the d file. Yada yada. Knight d4. So we kind of lost the tempo here. Okay. And now rook h6. And you talk about rook takes e3. Let's see if I understand it. So the engine said this one. That's pretty evil. Check to the miserable king. And then boom. Queen f1. Check. King h2. Yeah, I don't know. I like your. I mean, if I don't see anything concrete, I want to play your move because look, he can barely move. Queen f4. Yeah, that's right. Now he played rook f6. I guess bishop c6 also looks good. I don't know what he's doing. Thank you. And now rook f6. Okay, rook f6. You talk about bishop c6. Let's look, because that looks winning to me. Let's just see how it goes. How it goes down. So, rook e takes e3. I think that's correct. And rook takes c3. And you end it there without an evaluation. So this would be the one I would want to know, like, did you miss it? Or did you just think you were winning anyway? You didn't have to mess with it? Those kinds of questions. All right. So. Yeah, this one I'm not sure. So I think the bishop c6 was the way to go. Let's look at it one more time. Bishop c6. Wait a second, let me just look. Yeah, okay. Rook e4. You talk about rook g6. Makes sense. Do I understand rook e4? I'm not sure I understand it. That wasn't it. Okay, let me just say what it looks like to me. You want to be playing, right? You want to claim that the bishop is much stronger, especially because of the h3 weakness. And you want, if possible, to really get in there on the king's side. So rook g6 is kind of like the first question. And that's just beautiful, Baus. That's a nice variation. So here it feels like you're fishing around. However, let's just note that here on the time thing, you know, well, you're down 21 minutes, but you're fishing here, is what it looks like. That move also doesn't look great. And now he goes rook g1. And rook d4 is some stockfish move. Okay, that's an easy move to miss. Now we're going to say this. Okay. And here you talk about bishop f5. Good move. Spicy sauce. Okay, here we go. Wow. King d6 looks correct, yeah. Oh, that's nice. Maybe b6. D6. Yeah. So he missed his chance. And now you get to have the rooks off. And your king gets better. So now this looks very poor for white. It'd be cool to have an eval here. Bishop e4. That's, of course, a move we don't want to do unless we've really analyzed it. It looks okay. Does it look okay? It's a little frightening. Okay, so first of all, is it necessary to play bishop e4? Bishop e4 freaks me out because you're introducing a potential pawn endgame where I'm not sure you're winning, right? Now I get it. You're a little low on time here. But, for example, let's say we go bishop d4, 3, c5, bishop c4. I guess then we're afraid of e4 or something. But even then, we have g6, f5. Now he's going to fall apart. Now, why does this scare me, bishop e4? Because I don't know if he can take it. It kind of looks like he can. And then I'm like, I don't know if I'm winning this coconut. I just don't know. It's not going to be easy for me to, I don't know. Claus says, I gave the eval on rook e4 over here. Yeah, I don't know if you're winning. I don't know if you're winning, but good. You gave the eval. I don't think, by the way, let's see here. He should consider snip, snop, f3. That looks a little bit more like he might save his soul here. Right? Maybe he can save his soul with that. Still, of course, very dangerous for him. It's pretty bad. I'm going to admit it's pretty bad. Okay, so king e5. This should be winning. b4. And then that freaks me out. King f2. f5. a3. He's not, I don't know. There's very, obviously, some time pressure. Both sides are basically trusting that the king and pawn endgame is winning. I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure at all. The longer black gets to build the position, obviously, the better it's going to be for him. a4, finally. g4. Now hg. fg. And now b5. Okay, I got a question. What about here, here, and here? Are we really going to win this thing? I don't know. That looks frightening. Maybe we can. Maybe we can, but we're going to need some fancy sauce here to win this one. Fancy sauce for the bows. Yeah, I don't see it immediately. There might be some way, but it's not going to be easy. No, I don't see it. Yeah. Okay, so again, we got to be super careful when we allow the exchange here. So this is terrible. G3, good move. And now bishop f3, please. h3. Okay, so now he takes, now again, bishop f3 is the move to do because h3, h2 is going to win for sure. And here, probably you're going to win on knight e4, but it's still a little hectic. Knight e4, king e4, b6. Oh my gosh. King f3. Bang. h2. Now, of course, our pawns are further enough advanced that we're a little lucky, Bows. We're a little lucky. But this is good. That's a beaut right there. Okay, great game. Fantastic. And that is the famous claw. Doing great, man. Doing great. All right, we'll go back, and I'm going to take a quick little break.
Welcome to Dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the club is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Aragaisi. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hacking.
Mouse.
He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still, his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 all accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating.
Okay, so next up we have F. Rada, who was mentioned earlier as helping, what was it? I believe it was Matt Chess, who's yeah, is that right? Thanks to F. Rada, who nudged me to finally pull the trigger. That's right, I remember that, right? So here's the famous F. Rada. F. Rada, tell us. Well, you don't have to tell us anything, but you do want to tell us something here. 52, certified quality assurance test expert, aus Deutschland. Play since 2016, live in Dresden with my girlfriend, 2 cats. I remember F. Rada now. Uses an e-board. Because I remember, I was chastising him. I was like, Baus, you have the ability to play in all these great German leagues and stuff. Played for 2 chess clubs. Last one in the local university. Here to improve my chess skills, OTB. Play classical games tournaments. Great. Joined a chess club. Oh, great. So I yelled at him. And then he did it. Schachclub Chess Sense 64. And my old German rating, David said, was reactivated. Okay, great. Now, this is also a good-looking heat map, so let's just spend a moment here. Look at that bad boy. Dude, it's flying, man. Flying. And that was the last one. See, I yelled at him, and then he joined the club. Sometimes you just need a sensei to yell at you. You know what I'm saying? You just need a sensei to yell at you. All right. So, this is a win for the older dudes too, man. It's hard. Reactivated the David said, great. And did a checkmate test. Maybe we could see more of that. Clubs. German dojo. Now, maybe if we get a German dojo, or maybe an S-set Schachclub Chess Sense 64 club, that would be even more amazing. I really want to stress, okay, I give this spiel all the time, but if we can get, in the United States, really it would be scholastic clubs, but in Europe, like clubs like this SA Chess Sense, we will give you a special deal for you to be on the dojo. If you have a bunch of people, then you get your own, like in the same way we have these club scoreboards, your club would have its own scoreboard. Amazing. And then you could see like who's working, what sparring needs to be done, yada, yada. Fantastic. All right, let's go take a look. Efrata's got some games. Matt Chesick, we know that guy, don't we? Don't we know Matt Chesick? Let's go click. Boom. So we'll go over here first. Is there a time? Beautiful looking time graph. These people are not chumps. I think Matt Chesick is in the dojo. I think we looked at Matt Chess earlier too. All right, so game review. And here we go. E6. Fine. 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 All right, so he's listened to or done a chessable course, the bishop d7. And right, this move, dc5, is something I championed in the course. Oh, this is cool. So he's doing it. And now this is a mistake, bishop d3, I believe. And that b5 is the interesting move. That's the one that I give in my chessable course. Very interesting position. Okay, so bishop d3, and you play knight e7. And the reason that b5 is importante is that we are driving the knight on c6 away from the e5 pawn. And f6, as you mentioned here, I don't believe white has anything now. And you give this variation. Boom. Well, that scares me to death. That does scare me. Now, I'm sure we could talk about that variation some more, but if you were scared of something like that, I guess I get it. b5, knight e5. This is an interesting variation. Because part of the question for me is bishop d3 good? If it's the reason it would not be good is because of f6. Conceivably even f5. Okay, but we're going to focus on the game knight e7. Castles queen c7. And you don't like it too much. By immediately queen b8, I would have isolated my rook a8, which I didn't want. So I came up with the idea of putting the queen on b8 after rook c8. So you talk about queen b8. By the way, castle seems real frisky. I think the dude needed to play b5. Rook e1. Now queen e2. Easiest was knight g6, and there's some theory, I guess, going on. And the easiest was knight g6, you say, instead of queen c7, right? So just, I don't know what white's going to do after this, right? Simple chess. Oh, that's not it. And even fg6 is a good move, but hg, sure, fine. You're doing great. Okay, so queen c7, maybe a little funky. Rook e1. Rook c8. Now the problem is here you could have played b5 to knock your knight. Okay. So you talk about knight bd2 and knight b4 in the post-mortem. And better was A4, queen b8, b5. I just don't know why we wouldn't just play b. I guess, right, he could play a4 first, and then he can still knock you with b5. Right. Okay, great. Yeah, so we would get this position. And I like white a lot because the knight on a5 is a little bit off sides, and you can't castle yet. And the bishop a3 stuff is going to happen. You know, you can see why I don't like it. All right, so bishop f4. He doesn't get it, though. h6, that wasn't it. And you talk about better was knight g6, and the engine says that. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Another reason that I wouldn't like this move, bishop f4, is because f5 is kind of interesting for you. You actually give that. And this position, I believe in you. I believe in you. Yeah. Okay. So h6, that wasn't it. The guy still is refusing to play b5. But here, I guess you're kind of forced to do something about your bishop anyway. Okay, queen b8. a5 doesn't look right. It looks like b5 wants to be done. And you guys looked at a6 in the postmortem, but first let's figure out this. Castles. And you got, finally we get this f6. Good move. So what we're going to say is, like, this whole time both players weren't sufficiently aware that b5 would have knocked the knight away from the e5 square. Now it's too late, and now black is at least okay. I would rather be black now. So, boom. I don't know what he's supposed to do. You talk about knight b3, but, well, okay. But why can't you just take it? Am I losing my mind? Fe5, knight c5. It's kind of scary, but like if we just do this, what is he doing to us? He just lost all his coconuts. He just lost all his coconuts, man. Yeah, so ef, rook f6, and yeah, bishop f4. So in general, one cool thing as a French player to understand about this is you should say to yourself, oh, that's got to be a nice position for me, because the dark square bishop is so powerful. The c3 square is so weak, and the bishop on d7 is even doing stuff, right? So this is looking fantastic. All right, so rook f6, snip, snop, and now knight f1. The engine wants a6. And you write knight b3. I agree. I don't understand a6. Maybe it's some genius thing. But actually, I get it. What does the engine want? The engine wants to say, boss, I'm just moving this pawn here so that I can finally play b5. I want to finally play b5, finally control e5 for myself. Gute Nacht. Yeah. Actually, let's look at that because that's very compelling. a6, b6, b5, and we're strategically hosed. Now, when I say hosed, I mean all the way done, you know, because this bad boy's going to land here. Matt Chess is in the chat. Nice. Chess under fires here. Oh, we're having a great day. Okay, so knight f1. Right. Knight g6. I could have played a6 in peace. Knight g6 is probably fine. I just want to stress that's also a thought with the idea of sacking the exchange. And now knight e3. Right, so the thing that makes me a little suspicious about knight g6 is that I think maybe Matt thought that this bishop was totally critical, but what's really critical is this square. That's what's critical. So if we take, First of all, that G2 pawn is not getting touched anytime soon. You talk about knight E5, but look at this. A6, again, the point of A6 is not to induce anything. It's just so that knight A5 doesn't happen. And then knight E5 is coming, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I don't care if I even lose that pawn on C3. That knight coming to E5 it just hurts me. It's too much. Too much. Okay, so here we go. Knight E3. Definitely needed to take that knight, and now that's a big old fatty. Big old fatty on F4. So, queen D1. That's looking good. And now knight G4. We get whacked with knight H3. Good move. And now I guess we're toast. Yeah. Queen F4. So look, from a human point of view, forget the engine for a second. The problem with queen F4 is you are allowing an exchange of queens. Right? So anything besides that, snip, snap, and now the game's back on. Now I don't know what's happening. Bishop F1. Yeah, rook D1, dude. And he says, I completely missed this possibility with when he played queen F4. And then talks about A6 or rook H3. This one's hard to evaluate for me because we still have to worry about A6 and the knight E5 stuff, you know. Yeah. Okay, so bishop F1, mistake. Thank you very much. Big pawn. Now our knight gets the D4 square. Very good. Very good. Simple chess. King F8. And dude just resigns? Matt Chess, what are you doing? What are you just giving up, Bows? What are you doing? Why are you giving up? Yes, it's probably technically lost. Oh, Matt Chess ran out of time. Okay. Great game, you guys. I hope it's also a really cool example of what's going on in the dojo. I want to just mention two things about the dojo here. They use their time. Point number one. Point number two, they had a cool post-mortem afterwards, right? And the post-mortem, in a lot of ways, I mean, it's great just to see where, your opponent was coming from. Also will jumpstart your analysis, right? Because you'll be turned on some ideas through your opponent, and then, you're going to go off on your own and think about it. And only after all that is done, then you can look at the computer, right? So, great dojo culture. Well done. And let's continue. Next up is Young Jedi. Young Jedi says, took a break from chess. I remember Young Jedi. Do a lot of tactics, calculation, endgame, watch GM speedruns. I don't have time to play longer games. Dude, if you have time to watch a GM speedrun, I think you have time for longer games. I go over with the game review ChessCom feature. Both Bartholomew and GM Moulton said I need to play faster time control games as I was taking up way too much time per move. If you're playing, yeah. So let me just say, the point, Young Jedi, is if you want to be a blitz player, even if you want to be a blitz player, you need to play some longer games to get some deeper thinking going on. That will then translate, because what will happen is when you're making blitz chess or whatever it is you want to do, you are going to be able to do the things that took you hard at first in the OTB or the longer games. Then you'll be able to convert that. Yep. Don't have time can almost always be replaced with it's not a priority to me, says the strength coach. Alex, are you a strength coach, dude? That's interesting. Yeah. So here we go. All right, Alex Gustafson's a strength coach. That's interesting. Alex, I don't want to get totally off topic, but tell us where you are and what kind of strength coaching you're doing. Young Jedi says, I started playing chess in February 22. Fell in love with it. I have a coach doing some things somewhat differently. I go over my games with him. I'm here to find sparring partners and really enjoyed Kostya's calculation class. Hoping there will be much more classes like that. I've met some great people on here, hoping to meet more. So, what's going on here? Not a lot from this. Let's see, hours worked. Also not a lot. He's not marking his business. He is studying though, because he's got a coach and such. Hasn't done any tactics tests. And is playing ChessCom Rapid. Okay. Has gained mucho points. And has been here since 2023. So a little bit more than a year. Clubs. The No Stress Chess Club. That's No Stress Chess Club. They don't play longer games there, bud. He's just not stressing. Okay, cool. Most folks doing starting strength. Now, let me ask you something, Alex. When I hear starting strength, I hear 5x5. Is that kind of what you're doing? You're doing some 5x5? All right, so games. What do we got? We got loads. These don't have the, let's just try. These ones haven't been done for a long time. So Young Jedi has not done any games recently. Cool. Okay, so Young Jedi, listen, I know you're not listening to me. I know you have a sense already of what is right. I know these people have told you need to play faster. And if you want to be even if you want to be a blitz player, I want to stress you do need to play some longer games and annotate them to think about it. Then those decisions that were difficult for you in OTB or longer games, then you can do it a little faster. You can use that knowledge when you're then playing your shorter games that you want to play. That's cool, Alex. I've been doing some 5x5. I do CrossFit, but a little bit on the side. I'm doing some 5x5 just for myself. Mostly enjoy it a lot. Yeah, it's very simple. That's what I like about it. I like the simplicity, man. All right, Mark says, French, live in Metz, but I come from the center of Paris. Great. 1553. And he's got this FIDE rating going on. He's done some checkmate tests. This looks all fairly reasonable. Let's click this out here. Boom. This is the heat map. That's looking pretty good, Mark. Looking pretty good. Yeah, okay, great. Definitely looks like a lot of opening work, at least recently. So kind of I'm seeing mostly openings and tactics. Let's see if that's borne out over here. Right, not that much games and analysis. And it's kind of weird. Maybe he's not marking it because we got hours worked with openings, little 10 minutes spots and stuff, but maybe he's not marking it down with the dojo points. Oh, yes, he is. He's marking it down with some dojo points. But why doesn't it show up then here? What's going on? I guess it's all because it's little 5-minute chunks that he's doing. I'm guessing maybe on Chessable or something like that. All right, let's look at some games. Scene is weird. Sorry about that. Boom. I still had the heat map scene. Thank you for pointing that out, Esbestum. All right, they're both. Okay, so these are games that really haven't been played in a while. See, because they're back, and this is April. But let's give this a look. Did I look at it already? No. Do we got times? No. Let's go game review. I have the white. I bet that's a literal translation of how the French say it. Okay, so boom, 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 boom. Okay, fine, 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 fine. Little weird, Queen E6. Yeah, so Queen E6 is just poor. In this position, the problem is the knight D5 is coming fast and furious, and they need to either play C6 It looks heretical to take on c3, but I know sometimes these fools, they sometimes like to play, I don't think it works here, but they like to do like some kind of trick where they bring the rook out. You know, it's fancy business. But this isn't it. Good move. And now their position looks nasty. And now f4, and they got to play something like knight g6. But your c5 move looks crushing, dude. So that's what you get when you don't develop your pieces. That's what you get. Very nice. Game over. Game over. So, Mark, a couple things here. Lewis, thank you for following us. A couple things here. So, we need to see some more games from you over here. We got a French club? We do. Maybe a Mets club, Mark. You get a Mets club going on. That would be interesting. Yeah. Okay, but congratulations. I think you know what you need for the new year. More games and longer games and the analysis of said games. Next up, we got Alex. Alex said, celebrating my first dojo anniversary with a graduation. Many thanks for all the resources put into the program. If not for this structure, I'd be among the countless fools blaming their lack of progress on not having enough opening lines memorized or some nonsense. Thank you in particular to Sensei David for his Friday night fights commentary. I had the pleasure of being featured prominently on the stream on multiple occasions, and I learned a lot from watching the recordings afterwards. Shout out to fellow dojo member Jakester for his help at our club on Wednesday nights. My favorite part of this cohort was the book Simple Chess, one of the few chess books I successfully read cover to cover, and honestly the first book of positional play that resonated with me. It was the right book at the right time. For game review, I request we look at my game against Z Nudo. Okay, good. Let's do it. Zoop. This is Alex. Oh, here was Alex. We were just talking about Alex. This is the famous one. This is the famous dude who's got Gus's Barbell Club. Okay, great, dude. Yeah. Oh, he's got a 9-year-old daughter, dude. I got an 8-year-old daughter. Okay. So beautiful. Someday, the tournament in Louisville, I'm going to go to that gym. It'll probably be some really buff dudes, though, man. There's probably some really buff dudes over there at that gym. Holy moly. All right, so there's Alex. And there's the USCF, so that's looking great. Also really cool that dude is doing the OTB as the preferred metric. Done these tests. That one, something happened. Something happened. We don't know yet what happened on those tactics tests. But otherwise, it looks correctamundo with the tactics rating. The heat map looks amazing. Let's take a look. Look at that thing. Lots of games played. Now, one of the curious things about this is maybe dude is playing too much. Maybe. We have to see, like, what's going on. That's a lot of games. A lot of games that are getting played. And the question is, maybe not being able to go over. Anyways, we'll take a look. So, we'll go back to the Grad Show. Click here. Clubs. Now, let me just, if we could get a Louisville, Kentucky club, that'd be amazing. You might be the only one, but you might also create it, and there might be someone on the dojo you don't even know. It's there in your town. I don't know. All right. Day is going to join up into the dojo. That's what we need. All right, activity. Amazing amount of work, and we're going to see how he got here. So 1500. So 305 hours. Lots of games being played. We know that. Tactics, a little bit less. But he's done 709, the mate and twos. Could be a little more. Yeah. All right. So this is all in general, though, looking great. And let's go take out a look. Now, Alex, if there is a game you want me to... Oh, you said Nudo. There he is. Boom. So do we have this? Look at that. Very nice time graph. Conceivably here, the game was over by move 28. We'll keep an eye on that. So this is a team match, but it looks good in general from a time graph perspective. So here we go. D5, my least favorite. Don't worry about that thing. E5, knight f6, d4, bishop g4. This is a weird thing to do. I've never understood this line. So, knight f3, okay. Fine. Fine. And you talk about c4 as well. All right. I think queen h5 would be my main concern here. He goes queen f5. And now you believe that he is threatening something. Basically, you believed him here that knight b4 was a thing. So, one thing we should say is that when your hand is about to make a move like a3, just hear me a little bit. Just be like, Baus, he doesn't want me to do it. He doesn't want me to play that a3 move. I know he doesn't. Now, sometimes you do, but here I don't think you do, right? Here it's just a little too much. So here we go. A3, to me now, castle's long is the big question. And I'm worried for your soul after castle's long because, yeah, he's gonna hack you on d4. But he misses his chance. You go here. Fine. Boom, boom. And now h5. That makes 0 sense at all. 0 sense. Castles. Here we go, my friends. g5. Rook e1. Good. g4. Boom. That's got to be correctamundo. And now h4. Now, h4 probably. But we want to at least, consider rook e5, right? Yeah, rook e5 looks pretty compelling. But all right, I like your position after h4. Well, I like rook e5 a lot because the rook has so much ability to swing later, too. You know, he's just going to be powerful on this 5th rank. So, h4. And now you say you're a little bit better with g3. Okay. I'm okay with that, saying that. Maybe you're a little bit more than a little bit better. And that's the move I don't want you to play that, bud. I don't want you to play that. What are you doing? What are you doing to me? Okay. So let's read what you write. Rook b1. Defense leaves my rook and everybody in a cruel dependence. I'll have to maneuver a bit. But here, let's look. Isn't there something else we could do? You know? So, if nothing else, we could start with queen e2. That makes them think about queen a6. It's also just developing. And, you know, the other thing that's so funky about this is I don't know if he's going to get away with a rook b2 if we move the bishop. You know, there's questions that need to be asked here. Because his king is so loosey-goosey. Yeah, the goose is loose over there. And if I was going to make some kind of defensive move, it'd probably be b4. You know? All right, rook b1, we don't want to see that. Knight d5, bishop d2. You're going full scared mode. Knight d5, by the way, doesn't look correct because he's inviting your knight to come into e4. Yeah. Okay. Bishop takes. Rook g8. I don't know. that isn't it. Officially declining the castle. By the way, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he took on c3 either. I mean, the whole thing was a little bit misguided. All right, rook g8. Queen d2. That looks reasonable. Queen e2 also looks good. Queen f3. Looks like he's playing for tricks. Thank you very much. Good move. He's obsessed with this thing. I don't get it. Now you played rook e4. Now, I don't know if it works, But definitely the move I would want to consider here is rook e5. And I don't know, let's just put it here for a second. And we got, we're looking pretty good. Because we're not only are we going to get this bad boy down here, but this guy is going to be looking at this. There's going to be a little convergence of thought here. Okay, so you like rook 3 e2. Just move it here. We're fine. Yeah, of course you're fine, but you want to hurt this fool. You want to hurt him. All right, rook e4. And I don't know, maybe f5, but that looks frisky. That's what they call frisky. So here we go. King d7. We're going to need to, I want you to start every move. I want you to think about rook e5. Okay, still not throw anything. Good move. And now you're going to have rook e5 for sure. Queen b5. Okay, and now a big decision. What do you want to do? I like queen b3, which you did, in principle. But on the other hand, we got to say that even if you took on b5 and played rook e5, that we would also like your position there. So just to be clear, I don't like, you're doing fine. This rook is out of play. You're doing some things. We might get this going on pretty soon, you know? Yeah, this looks great. That looks fantastic. Okay, so queen b3, queen d5. And you talk about c4, good move. Queen c3. They're finally getting ready to do this f4 thing he's been dreaming about. But now we're going to hit him with rook e5, right? Thank you very much. Queen c5. Now here he stops notation. And I like queen c4. Let's just go. Remember when I said around 28? I was like, it looks like they flatlined or something. But that was because Alex stopped taking notation. And it's funny, before you had the chance to trade queens, and now you're just like, please, just let me get that queen trade. All right, so f4, rook h5. This is getting fun now. Here. And then here's a very nice tactic that happens here, because I could have fallen for that trick. Because the problem is now we don't have time to take because of this. So good move. Guy takes with a king. F takes. Rook f3. And now rook e2. Good move. Good move. And now he does this. Doubling on this rank doesn't get it anything. And he talks about rook e3. Okay, that's a good annotation. Let's look at this annotation. One thing I'm very happy about this annotation is a lot of times people stop annotating in the endgame. So in particular, like if you were in time pressure, a lot of times people are like, well, I was in time pressure, so I'm not going to annotate it. No, this is where you learn the endgame. This is fantastic. That's a good and simple move. Here I felt like I'm winning again. My rook is better. His king can't get to my passed pawn. And while I was at least under 2 minutes here, my opponent was starting to get lower on the clock too. Okay, so rook f5. I think rook e3 was my big question. Threatening rook here. Yeah. All right, rook f5. And now rook takes g4. And I'm just looking at something dumb. Something I would have spent an enormous amount of time here on would be the question, would this be a winning pawn endgame? And the basics of it are going to be that this guy runs and that we can also create a passed pawn here. Is it true, Kraai? Maybe it's not. I think maybe it's not. If this pawn were on the 8 file, I think it would be. But yeah, we're not actually going to be able to create another one over there. So that would be not a bueno move, Jesse. In any case, one of the things I want you to see is black on a practical level should never offer rook f5. It's just don't even offer it, black. Because with the rook endgame, you always have a shot at surviving, right? So like rook e3 makes a lot of sense. Rook f5, isn't it? Simple move. a5. I don't know. That seems to help you a little bit, honestly. Rook g5. Excellent. Just like we were talking about. Force that exchange. Now he's got to play rook f4. Oh, that was nice. I like that. Boom. Boom. And rook takes d4. Let's look at that, because that is, I think, the critical question. Boom. Black's king handles the a pawn, their rook on the h pawn. Well, we should continue here, though. We're not done yet. Yeah, I think you're still winning. We're going to go h6, so we threaten rook h5, rook h4, rook g6. That's a hassle in the castle, because this king is going to have to go here, and then this pawn is going to fall. So that looks crispy critters. All right, so rook h4, a6. Not totally losing my advantage, but nowhere near my best. Now, rook g8, that's a pretty fancy move, Bows. That's a pretty fancy move. Let me just go ahead and say, I think a6, that makes some sense to me. Rook d4, he's saying he's not losing this. Clever. I would have missed that. But I also would think, like you did, I guess, that this is winning. King e4, c5. Check. Back. I think, boom, simple chess. He's toast. Yeah, this is what's called the crispy and the critter. Oh, man. Yeah. So here is a very simple rule. This maybe you can remember is, it's like that pawn move is like money. You know, it's money because it's always a tempo. So yeah, whether you start, as long as you have that tempo in reserve, it's always winning. Yeah. Oh, man, that's a bummer. Good move. Now let me just see here. So you would need to try it. King e7, you know, king a7. You just mess with him a little bit. King e8. He's got to fight that move, see? Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, Zenudo. He's playing, he's much stronger, higher rated, too. Okay. So, that was a great game. That was a great game. And I'm going to look up Gus's barbell. I got to put that on my to-do list, dude, the Gus's barbell. Gus's barbell. Someday I'll go visit Gus's barbell. You know, I'm in a little CrossFit gym, so I don't have access to like the truly huge dudes. You know, I don't got access to the truly huge men. All right, that was Alex. Wait, boss, you're not even close to done. Oh, cry. I hope some people here don't have games because I can't take it anymore. This is Pelham. All right, Pelham's here. I think they just got here. No, they've been here for a while. Clubs, just dads and moms. Activity, not a lot. Games, nothing. Well, Mr. Wodehouse, I hope you've been here. Do some work, put some games in, and we'll have a look. This show's so long that I'm a little thankful. I'm a little thankful, man. This person as well, dude. Joined pretty recently. Senior section in Cuba. God, that would be great. Okay. So we'll follow. Dude's ready. 1602. Could be in a higher cohort. And just like the last person. Just joined. So welcome to the dojo. Next up, we have Ponosaurus. And Ponosaurus has definitely got some things for us to look at. Ponosaurus has been working a little bit. 1407, let's give him a follow. Doing one checkmate test. done some work. Doing a lot of opening. Yeah, so we would like, as just a macro breakdown, this one and the tactics should be the most, right? Let's see if we get a game from Ponosaurus. No games. Today I'm thankful, my friend. We, of course, want you to have a game. But here, my throat's getting dry. Oh, I'm dying here. All right. So, barbecue and barbells in St. Louis. Yeah, I'll definitely be tempted. I'll definitely be tempted over there. Yeah. I don't drink much anymore, so barbells and barbecue, that's all I got. That's all I got. Maybe a chess tournament too. Takatora said, join the dojo, end of 23, and love it. Made the mistakes of years of attempting to learn exclusively by reading books and playing against a computer because I didn't want to embarrass myself. Big mistake. 1 year of the Dojo Training Program has resulted in more improvement than many years of what I had done before. Yeah, this thing with the computer is interesting. Of course, back in the day, we didn't have a computer really to play against. We did, but But I understand that I've heard this before, of like the fear of not wanting to play an actual person. So if the dojo helped you to do that right there, that's already well worth it. So here's Takatora doing some good work. And 1433 needs a little help with the tactics test. Sometimes our tactics test brutalize people. It's hard. Clubs. No. Games. Bunch. Activity. Quite a bit. Quite a bit. So, that looks good. And again, we want to see these two groups a little higher. Games. Here is Takatora. Bang. The Jobless Jester. I like that one. The Jobless Jester. Picked up the Chess Dojo How to Analyze Your Games book. Oh, wait, let's just see the time graph. First, we're going to look at time graph. And my friends, we have seen this story before. Takatora's playing some chump online. This person isn't thinking at all. So hopefully we're going to get a win, a W out of this situation. All right. We have this amazing book that just got out. And he's putting some of David's questions in there. All right, great. Let's take a look. Check out the book, by the way. Yeah, and this is kind of dangerous for black. My friend Enrico Sevillano plays this a bunch for years, has played this little gambit thing. E6. Okay, e6 is probably playable. My sense was that like knight b6 followed by either d6 or d5 seems most correctamundo. CD, knight b6. Now, here, you're still fundamentally fine, but your bishop now on c8 is not solved. Okay. Now, if I was white, I would really want to consider queen e2 here, because with white's move, he gave you the option to trade queens. And I would have done it. Yeah, I would have traded queens for sure. Take that thing. Okay, so you don't? Now you do. No, you don't. Okay, when you play yourself a funky move, you should say, oh, well, what should I have done? Now, one of the reasons to trade queens here is that really this pawn is there to give him a little space and maybe mate you. He ain't going to mate you without the queens. Also, maybe we'll even keep our king in the center. We don't even know yet, but we're going to start with this move, And then we'll think about that move. We'll think about that move. We'll think about that move. We'll think about this move. We got a lot of juice. And he's not doing anything to us. So this is incorrectamundo. I hope you took with the queen. Okay. Should be 6. You're not lost or anything here. I don't know about queen d2. Knight b5 looks good. Okay. Jettisoning the vulnerable IQP and getting some additional squares. Now, I just got to say, it looks like we just jettisoned the pawn. It looks like we jettisoned a pawn. All right, queen e3. So now white's better. And now they got the big old fatty running down our throat here. This ain't any good. Rook fd8. Now, can he play f5? Unfortunately, it looks like he can play f5. Now we're strategically hosed. And okay. Yeah, he should consider f6 here. Should consider f6. He does. Now, here it's different because maybe you can play rook d4. You do. And then queen takes d4 happens. So queen takes d4 doesn't look correct in Mundo to me because bishop c5 goes on. Your opponent doesn't care. Okay, bishop f2. Now, bishop f2 in general is a mistake. Maybe we got to do it though. Usually we don't want to take the pin piece. All right, this is exciting. Here we go. Boom. Boom. Check to the miserable king. Check. And it looks like he's got to go back. Because here you hose him. Oh, no, that wasn't very nice. Oh, no, the light squares finally pay off. Okay, so there we go. That was an interesting game. And one of the, actually, I'll just say it for myself, like, sometimes these two bishops can really do it, but the thing that just terrifies me too much is that f4. I mean, and you should be able to find some variation here where white is cooking you. I think f6 right now looks very strong. I mean, isn't f6 just crispy critters right away? I think the critters have been crisped, you know? Let's just go a little second here. Bishop f1, fe, rook d4, queen d4. I'm just trying to save your soul, but I'm seeing queen d8. Yeah, no bueno. Okay, so well done. It definitely was a crush on the light squares, and that's a welcome to the dojo moment. And let's just tell your opponent something. Hey, buddy, you want to play against someone in the dojo, you might want to take a little bit of time, son. You might want to take a little bit of time. All right, so here we go. Going to go back. And next up, we have Sebastian Bastoun. Sebastian is probably in the chat. He was earlier. And Sebastian won our prize. We did a little thing where we wanted people to do a little social about, a little vid or something about the dojo. Sebastian did a great one. And cool to see him graduating here on the first of the year. And he has got a game he wants us to look at, so we will do so. First, we're going to click at this here. Joined in October, first graduation after playing a 6-round OTB FIDE. Nice. The most important thing for me is to truly be 100% committed in the program and the tasks, but I'm quite confident I'll be able to fully commit to the program after a rest of a few days. Thank you for this awesome program. Great. Great. Okay, let's go take a look at Sebastian over here. So, are you in Metz? I don't think he's in Metz. Yeah, here we go. Currently 1650. Beautiful. Now, look at this. He's doing the work. And actually, these tactics ratings really do reflect really where dude is at over here. A little higher even. Okay. And of course, it's a little weird with the FIDE at this rating cohort because FIDE ruined their own rating system March of last year. So it's so weird for me to see this and this be significantly different. In any case, that's where we are now with Mr. FIDE. Lots of tactics being done. Let's see. We got that Frenchie club. Heat map heroes. That's a good one. And we'll go activity. And let's just see. 134. Let's see what we're doing with tactics. 1110. Great. That looks good. And then what's the non-dojo? A bunch of stuff. Okay, fine. All right, let's see. Games. And we got Vincent over here as requested. Now, you guys, I'm starting to fade. I just want to put it out there. The fade is happening to me. All right, so this is Sebastian playing Vincent, significantly higher rated. Vincent wasn't taking this time. Probably here, this is where Sebastian stopped taking score. Makes sense. All right, so let's go over here. Game review. Pop, pop. So, mindset. I have nothing to lose. This is a no engine analysis. Well said. Okay. Fine. 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 Okay. 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 Little weird. Good. We're not going to get excited about that. E4. Okay. And now you take with the knight. It's fine. Well, first I want to take with the pawn. It's probably not going to make a difference. You want to trade everything off. And now you played knight f6. And you'd say bishop g5 would be better. I believe in knight f6. There's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes it's funny, but sometimes it needs to guard these squares, but your opponent doesn't have a knight. Now, in general, what I would say about this position is the reason it's dangerous for white is because you have a simple plan of putting your business on the d file and whacking this pawn to say, hey, buddy, I think you're not going to be able to ultimately deal with it. So I think this is okay. I think queen b6 is interesting here. But queen d7 is fine. Good move. Queen c7. Yeah, I think that queen b6 might have been better. All right, here we go. But simple chess, good. Good. Nimzovich calls this the incinerator. So he's saying, you go forward, I'm going to incinerate you, buddy. All right. Now, you need a plan here. You can start with this. And now you get real frisky with b6. Okay, so b6 maybe, but I fundamentally scares the bejeezles out of me. And you did take forever doing it because you're expanding the scope of this bishop. Now, it still is true that it's not super easy to know what you should do. But notice that white also doesn't know. They've got no plan. Now, if we move the knight, is the problem that he then plays d5? Maybe. Might be true. Well, that's an interesting position. I still very much would, I think, even though I think it's maybe equal, computer might even like white, move like queen a5 seems right. In general, I don't want to soften the light squares. Yeah, this should be better for white now. So, snip, because he solved his main problem, the weakness on d4. Snip, 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 snook, snark. Yep. I completely missed this move. Now white has a bishop pair in an open position. His queen dominates the d file, and white can create a pass pawn on the a file. Yeah, this is a very frightening position. Now here, I don't think you should trade queens. And if anything, maybe try to, I don't know, knight d7, queen a5, because this endgame, I think, is lost. a4, a5, simple chess. Dang. Bishop c6, you don't like it much? Let's see. To me, it might just be winning, so I just want to look. Here, here, here. Bishop a7. At this point, I was sure that the position was a draw because I can control the b6 square with my knight and bishop, and my king wasn't too far. Now, let me just say, this guy moved too fast, right? We're at move 30. Yeah, this guy was moving way too fast, thinking you were a chump. So this is like a position. I don't care if you're a super GM or what, you're still going to have to think about what's going on here. Now here on a6, maybe, but I don't know. White still has to prove something here, right? Still got to prove something. Yeah. I'm just looking at some stuff here. B6, pawn takes, a6, bishop b8. I think you're going to be okay, actually. I had crazy dreams. I don't think they're any good. I was thinking bishop c6, knight e5, bishop f4. But even here, you just play f6. Don't play knight takes c6. Okay, so he needed to think. He did not. I would encourage you, Sebastian, next time to really spend some time in the endgame here. It will help you. And now you talked about bishop f4. G5, b6. That's great. So, but doesn't that mean on bishop f4, what if you just play f6 though? Right? Yeah, just play f6. I don't know what he's got. Okay, bishop c5. And now this player who is much higher rated, now you're doing great. Honestly, they might want to be a little careful here with their coconuts, not to lose it. F5, good move. I don't understand that. H3, G5, okay. G4, okay. You could play at H5 first. I like H5 first, actually. But you're doing absolutely fine. You went a little passive. But you, of course, yeah, you made it a little scary for me. Made it a little scary for me. Oh, no. So king e3, and you say e5 is the blunder of the game. I had around 10 seconds when I played this move. Okay, let me just show you something here. So let's go back here. At this point, it's important to say that the bummer for white is he can't dislodge you easily from this beautiful post. So you're the one who actually can make some drama. Okay? So g5, king f1. I don't like g4 because you're going to be splitting your pawns here, right? So h5, king e2. Now we're going to think about g4. You know, we got other moves too to just build the position. But here you loosen the structure. And right now I'm like nervous. Now I'm getting nervous. You should still be fine, but I'm getting nervous. I don't like that either. So we went passive. Probably we want to go king e7 to d6. No. Yeah, even there, it's a little hot. It's already getting a little hot. So, for example, maybe he can do that to you. Maybe he can do that. It's still really hot, though. Like, because I think you got to play d4 here. Bang. And he cannot do bishop f2 because of d3. Yeah. Okay, good. So that's, as you can see, how it fell apart a little bit here. All right, well done, Mr. Bastoon. And you can see you had this dude, 2,000 player. You had him. You had him. All right, here we go. Boom. We're going to go over here to this Mr. Crooney. Mr. Crooney has done a lot of work, my friends. And doesn't say anything about himself. Graduated numerous times. USCF flying up. Flying up. Part of Dojo 1.0. Matrix Free, it says, yo, Jesse, big fan here. Sometimes, by the way, I don't look at the YouTube chat. Big fan here. You work out right. What's your best lifts? I don't know. I'm trying to do them all. You know, I'm trying. To me, they're primary movements. That's the little word I would use. I'd say I got my primary movements as an old man. You know. So what does that mean? I mean I'm trying to focus on the deadlift, the squat, the overhead press, bench press, pull up. Do I have? I don't know. I've got. Squat used to be the worst. I used to have a real problem with range of motion, and now I've just made some great breakthroughs here. So I don't know if I used to. I would say I never had a great lift, but I used to have a bad lift, and now I have a little breakthrough. So Alex Gustafson says he approves. I like it. I got a lifting coach here, man. Here's Crooney. And Crooney, it's hard to say quite what's going on, at least from this heat map. Let's bounce this out a second. He's active. Looks like he hasn't done any games analysis in a while, though. So a little bit unclear what's exactly happening. All right, clubs. No clubs. Crooney is like a little bit to himself. He's not saying a lot. Games. All right. So this was played fairly recently. And let's go take a look. All right, let's get some times, no times, that's okay. Game 3 of the Motor City Open. White is Pranav Nihil. I have black, okay, good. So here we go. Fine. C5, that makes me a little nervous. I'm sure it's playable, it makes me a little nervous. C takes, E takes, Queen D2. I don't understand that move. What is the point of Queen D2? No comprende. So you get ambitious and play C4. Probably okay. Bishop F5. Now, Rook E8 is played. And I just want to turn your attention to this move here, Knight C5. Now, is this a winning move? I don't know. I just know it's something we got to look at. The idea is Bishop C8, Knight D3. All right. Also, just strategically in this position, I would want to start getting this kind of thing going. All right, Rook E8, Knight F8. Okay. Snip, snop. You're doing fine. Rook FD1, H6, okay. Another trick is to play Knight G6 first so that they can't go back. So you play H6 next, and you're definitely going to get the bishop. Okay, so now the problem is I want you to see that the knight on G6 is a little bit cut from the game, and the bishop on G3 is doing pretty good. All right, bishop B4, you're still doing fine, though. Knight E5. I don't know. I don't know about that move. You played Knight E7, and the engine wants you to play Knight E4. But let's just say, for engine bashmingen, you want to play Knight E4, bows. That's just what you want to do, man. That's just what we want. All right, so Knight E7. That's not good. Now that Knight on E5 is so strong. You snip. You could still play Knight E4. Knight E4. Good move. F6. Makes me a little nervous. I think we got it. We might want to take that bishop. We could play Knight F5. Let's see. Did you do it? Oh, my God. Black is doing well up to here. Now he talks about Knight G6. So why don't we just play Knight F5? We'll play Knight F5. We'll take this bishop on our sweet time. This is way frisky. Look at that. What are we doing? Knight D2, Knight G3. Uh-oh, now I'm worried. G4, what are we doing? E4, simple chess, yeah. Now he's playing some good moves. Yeah, good moves. Well, okay, the kid put a. He didn't know what he was doing before. Now he knows what he's doing. Okay, Queen F5, that doesn't look right. Knight F5, that should be crushing. right? That should just be end of the world. Knight takes c4. Yeah, what are you doing? Now we're going to finally take that knight? Ah, what do we do? Take the knight, bows. You've had the chance. It's not an engine line. It's not an engine line. It's something you need to look at. Allowing him to play knight f5 is obscene. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Oh, no one's understanding how powerful the knight on f5 was. Okay, b5, good move. He helps you. He fixes all your stuff, and now you're doing great. b4 now. I don't like it. Play b4. Okay, this is a phase of the game where we really, really want you to analyze what's going on here. Because it's really hot now, right? It is very hot. I think, well, yeah, this one, we need some attention. So f4, snip. And he plays gf. I think he should be thinking about king takes, followed by a4. King f6. I think I want to play rook d5. Now, the engine is telling you all kinds of stuff. But let me just look. From a human point of view, the question is, we want to prevent him from going here, right? And if we can, we want to invade. So you turning on the engine, I don't know how much it helps. Now, that's a terrible move. It's a terrible move. Now, can we just say, we've seen this, I think this is a third time we've seen this today. Someone offering the pawn ending in a position where it's like, no, don't be offering that pawn ending. Now, there's multiple ways to win after this. I want to say my favorite here is f4. Look at that move. Bang! And then bang. And then we're like, you got two runners. All right, let's see how you do it. It's all winning. It's all winning, Mr. Schminning. Okay, well done. Well done. Alex says, I also do not fully grok. Is that a word for grasp? That's like a barbell word for grasp. Well, there was several points where the knight was strong on f5. There were several points. Oh, I don't know if I want to get into it yet. But is it e5, knight d5, knight f5? Oh no! Can't go to g6 because there'll be some terrible discover check. What are you going to do here? Oh, gosh. And then, if nothing else, we'll play rook e1. But we got other moves, too. And then, like, oh, no, we're getting invaded. Knight h4 is a big old move, too, now. Ah, we got this one. The terror. The terror has struck. No, that's not what we wanted when we woke up this morning. All right. You know what I did? I kind of blew it. I took down too many windows, and I got to reboot my windows. So, go grad show. All right, so that was, we did Crooney. I think that was Crooney, and now Bastos, hero of the dojo. Finally came back to the cohort where I was prior the ratings, the dojo rating change. It was mandatory to me to do it based on my FIDE rating, so it feels like a huge accomplishment to me. I have to admit that the demotion got me a bit out of the dojo because I've already checked several tasks from the 12th to 13, so I was a bit lost about what to do. That said, I'm a huge fan of the new implementations such as the round robin and continue to feel it wasn't our fault, the rating thing. It wasn't our fault. And I continue to feel the big benefit to be in the dojo. I steadily improve and I am more and more convinced of how much slower games help my games compared to Blitz and Rapid. 1700 is my 2025 goal. It will be harder now since I'm with a times 20 coefficient. I think I know what you mean. All right, here's Bastos. I remember Bastos. Bastos has been around for a while. Yeah. 31-year-old. We got a lot of French players, too. Not that kind of French player, but the other kind of French player. You can see this is where it happened, and he was like, F the dojo. Tired of this. Demoting me. Screw the dojo. Yeah. All right. So, the ratings are a little bit all over the place with this stuff. It seemed maybe had some difficulty with our tactics test. These numbers should be closer. Finally ready to be committed. All right. 2,000 would be a great start. Now, let's just say I am a big fan of dialing down goals, right? So I think when you're talking about 2,000, just think about it. You're saying 400 points. That's massive. That would be like if somebody showed up to Alex's gym and they were benching. Yeah, this would be typical. You'd be benching maybe 200 and you'd be like, Baus, I'm ready for 315. And Alex would be like, Baus, slow it down. Slow it down. We might get there. Let's just set a more reasonable goal first. All right, here we go. Clubs. We got the French club. I really want these, especially I say it again. My dream for these Europeans especially is like, put in your club that you're playing for. Maybe you're not part of a club. I encourage you to be part of one if you're in Europe because they're so great. And then get that club in the dojo. All right, activity. Looking good. Lots of stuff going on here. Oh, it looks great. So, let's see if we got a game from Bastos. And this looks good. Let's click this bad boy. Boom. Do we got a time? We don't. Probably OTB, right? So, mark this, then we'll go game review. Let's start it up. This is, I think, okay. I think we are black here, so I'm going to flip this around. Knight c3. It's a bit of a surprise because it's the best move, but it's not a move very often played according to the Lead Chess database. Okay. So this is all very frightening for everybody involved. Let me just say, I think it's surprising to me that this Schliemann thing is playable. It's just surprising to me. And one funny story from the Donaldson's book about Fischer was this great thing where he just spent hours and hours and hours trying to refute the thing because he also didn't believe it was playable. But here we go. Knight c3. Probably White's just making it up as they go along. Knight f6. Okay. So the problem is if d5, she would have knight e5. d3. Okay. So yeah, she's just making it up. And now, of course, you should play d5. The whole point of your setup is to play d5. And now you're much worse. Now you're much worse because look, now we got this huge problem here. Yeah. Okay, so d6, now you're passive. And now queen d5 is definitely a little frisky. At first I felt it was a wrong move since I did not see how she could attack on f7 even with her knight on g5, but I did not think about bishop c4. Okay, so you talk about bishop d7 and or bishop g5. I mean, let's just say castles short would be the obvious thing for a chump GM like myself to do. But queen d5 is very frisky. It is pretty rough. Okay, here we go. Bishop d7. And this person is trying to waste you. Now, on knight g5, why aren't we playing queen g5? That's what I don't understand. Or, excuse me, queen f6. Why aren't we playing queen f6? Queen e7 here. And now knight d8. Oh, it's getting hot. Now, when your opponent doesn't develop their coconuts, it's probably a good idea to think maybe you can hurt them even worse. So the move that I would want to consider, knight d8 is an ugly move. That could we actually do it? Let's take a look. Knight f7, knight d4. Who's killing who? I don't know. This move is actually the one that scares me, bishop g5. Hey, Chihuahua. Maybe that's too much even for me. I can't take it. All right. Now, if you had the queen on f6, let me just look here. Queen f6, bishop c4, castles, knight f7. Bishop g5 is still a problem. But we have, this is hot. I mean, this is just, whew. The heat is on. It's on the street. The heat is on. This is making my head hurt. Knight d4, bishop g5, queen g6, bishop d8. On knight d8, we have queen g5. Bishop e6. Queen a5. Oh no, he's touching our coconut. We defend our coconut. He hits our coconut. Bang. Oh no. Whew. I can't even make heads or tails. It's too much. I just want to say that would be the thing I would want to analyze to death if I was analyzing this game. Because knight d8 we don't like. f4, she's trying to really crush you. Good. You also have bishop e6. It is safer. That isn't safe. Okay, so the thing that you should be scared to death by about ef4 is just that we're opening up her pieces. But maybe you got a point. Maybe you got a point. You're just saying, I'm gonna, I don't care. I care. I care. What about castles? Yeah. That's the one that scares me. Queen e4, we got rook e1, bishop e4. The coconuts are loose. The coconuts are loose. Also queen c3. All right, bishop b5, losing time. Now you might live through it. Queen e2, g5, that's the ambitious move, all right. Knight d4, I'm still scared. Knight f7. Castles, good move. Okay, good move. These people, what are they doing? Bishop g7, sure. They just don't like the knight on f5. They don't grok it, as Alex Gustafsson would say. They don't grok it. Okay, I think you're doing great. I think you're doing great. You like knight d6? Good, okay. We still got knight d6. Don't know what she's looking for. I don't either. Good move. Good move. Good move. Simple chess. There you go. Good move. Now it's just murder over here. Yeah, murder. Boom. Boom. It's really time to resign, honestly. Why don't we just take the pawn on c4 though? Take the pawn on c4. Okay, well done. I'm starting to lose my mind. I'm running out of juice. Oh my God, I got so many left. I'm gonna die. Adarsh, are you guys trying to kill me? Are you trying to end my life? Are you trying to end it for me? My mind is gone. Let's give Adarsh a follow and just hope that they don't have a game here because I'm losing it. Clubs. Nothing. Activity. Not a lot. Oh, thank the Lord. Okay. Adarsh, welcome to the dojo. Thank you for not submitting a game. I can't take it anymore. Cinnaburga. What do they got to say? I tend to forget tactics almost immediately. Drilling on Chessable for an hour has improved my tactical vision and rating. Okay. We got 3 more left. I might make it to the end of the day here. Okay, looking good. 1273. Doug did great on these checkmate tests. Clubs, nothing. Games. All right, let's take a look here. So this is played very recently. It's a 45-0. Good time graph. Go over here, mark it. So, weird. Boom, boom, boom. Good move. Fine. And then there's some weird H5 thing. At least that's what's usually played against me. Okay, yeah, you're doing good. Fine. I agree with that assessment. Clear advantage to white. Don't know what they're doing. And here you played C3. I would want you to just develop your coconuts here. Knight C3, knight D2. At some point, maybe bishop E3. This one I'm worried about because, well, maybe it's fine. But you're softening yourself a little bit here. Now, queen E7 is definitely incorrect. Black needs to play a move like bishop B6, and then it's harder for you to move everybody forward. Bishop B6. And here, maybe they missed queen E4, bishop F3. Nice. And now I feel like you got to be winning. Good move. Probably a good move. The knight is so poorly placed there. I don't know why we're playing H4, though. How about queen H5? Let's bring the queen in. Knight G7, that isn't it. Bishop, nice. Bishop, oh, look at that. Snip. Oh, no snip. Yeah, no snip. Good. That's not it. Good move. Good move. EF. You could play queen F6 too, sure. Good move. Good move. Good move. Good move. Dang. Didn't notice this pin until I sacrificed the bishop. Now you should still be winning, but of course, the simple move, since he's not threatening anything, right, we should definitely consider a move like rook A, E1. Doesn't respond to the rook lift. But what do you want him to do? I get it, he doesn't respond to the rook lift, but what do you want him to do? Good move. That isn't it. Rook H4. Dang, that's a nice move. Move of the game. Bang. Bang. Very nice. Very nice, Cinnaburga. Okay, how far can Jesse go? I don't know. Man's out of juice. I'm out of juice. Next up, we have Nubaros. We got 2 more, my friends. Nubaros, what does Nubaros say? It's not a real graduation. Uh-oh. Just moving into the... Okay, let's pretend it's not a real one then. This is what we're going to pretend that's not a real one. And then Yang. Tried to push myself with playing longer games, which helped me perform better immediately. Let's go check out Yang here. So, joined fairly recently. Fix the scene, buddy. I'm going to give Yang a follow. Clubs. Now, again, when you're in Asia, that's a big place. We need a little dial it down where that is. You know, because, yeah, down under dojo ain't Asia. Okay, activity. He has done a lot of endgame work. Let's see if we got a game. We got a game. This is MD Knight. We know MD Knight. Yo, MD Knight, are you out there, bud? We're about to shame you. All right, this is a second classical game. Let's see. Time. Oh, very nice time graph. That's the way it should look. When you come to the dojo, you might get a reasonable game. All right. So, MD Knight is MD Knight is often in the chat. And so cool that we get to see a dojo game here. Kind of mentally distracted because of my personal schedule after this game. So far, so good. Yeah, fine. And then this is weird. A6, it's not clear that it's necessary here. The standard move here is like bishop d7, intending snip and snook. Queen d2. I also don't like rook e8. So the thing about rook e8 is you are terrified of this move. But don't be, because first of all, he's going to have to take here if he wants to play bishop h6. But more importantly, that's their good bishop. And you have the space disadvantage here, so you do not want to trade. So bishop g5, mistake a mundo. And what should they do? Some kind of rook move, you know? Good move. Exclam. Well done. Now, knight takes e4. We just want to look at one variation. Knight c6, knight d2, knight d8, knight f1, and the knight can't get out. Both knights can't get out. But you have won the exchange. So, excellent tactic. All right, now we still need a couple good moves. I like bishop f5 here. I think that's fine. Okay, so I'm worried because the development isn't kosher, as they like to say. Knight e4, white has no... I felt like there was no good defense here. What do you mean there's no good defense? Is it really that bad? Maybe it's kind of bad. So, I was worried about the knight d5 idea. Right? Now, look, how did it go bad? You're doing great here, of course. And intuitively, I wanted this thing. Just to develop, right? Bishop e6 would be fine too, followed by rook c8. So this is a plan that's, you're getting in trouble because you're not developing. Now, are you toast here? I'd have a hard time believing you're toast. Bishop d7, I like the fact that you give up the exchange. I like it. You take with the rook, fine. I don't understand rook c1. I don't understand e5. What do you need to do? You need to play bishop c6, Bows. Put that bishop there. That's where it wants to go. Here you have chances to hold on because you have this nice center pawn and you got the good minor pieces. So that isn't it. I don't know why he's taking there either. Look, MD knight. Right here, buddy. Look at that. That's the sauce you're looking for. He gave you that square. Use it. All right. D5. C5 is a good move. Miss queen d6 here. Now, truth be told, you're already in some big trouble. And I yelled at MD knight for taking on f5. But if he has c5, I can't say anything bad about him. Okay? If it's true, it's true. As they say in the various spiritual texts of this world. They say if it's true, it's true. So, thank you very much. I don't know what to do. You're in trouble. Sad, too, because you went from you know, great position to this bad boy here. He's just taking all your coconuts. Yeah. Okay, animals. That was a great session. This is why I have to start at the bottom sometimes, or the top, as they say, because by the time I reach the end, I got no juice left. However, it was a great show. We're doing a lot of people coming to the dojo. Kostya and David need to do one of these shows. Take it off me, because I've been here for almost 3 hours. I can't take it. I'm dead. I got to go lift heavy things now for Alex.